Mixing with my career building tip, recognizing deadbeat clients. So what is a deadbeat client? A deadbeat client is basically someone who's not going to pay you for the job that you were hired for. And you notice that I say recognizing deadbeat clients as opposed to chasing down deadbeat clients or dealing with things like that. Usually you can recognize a deadbeat client as somebody who is always trying to lowball you through something. So they're trying to cut down the price to something dramatically low, see how low they can actually get you to go. And one of the leads of a client that is looking to get something for nothing is that they feed you this really, really, really low price to see if you take it. And if you take it, then they'll think, I got somebody and I can basically give them whatever I want. And that's really the real tip here. So in the end, the way that you avoid deadbeat clients is by not lowering your price or not negotiating. Or if you're negotiating your price like that, then the way that you get around it is that, let's just say that someone makes you an offer. Normally you would do this mix, let's just throw out a price, say for $500, and they say, well, I can only pay you $200. Then you would have to make another arrangement in terms of working with that, or what you should do is set up another arrangement where you will take the lesser price, but they have to pay the entire amount up front. And so what that will do is it'll force them to actually make good on their payment, because quite often what happens is a client will hire you, say, hey, mix this track for me. They negotiate some really low rate, and then in the end, you feed them a mix. They end up rejecting the mix, or quote unquote rejecting the mix, and then offering to give you half of what they even had planned to pay you. And then you end up walking away just really, really pissed for all the extra work that you put in. And it's not much you could do. And also, it's very likely that they're just going to take your mix and use it anyway. So, and a lot of artists don't really care. You can feed them an MP3. It's typical practice that you give somebody an MP3 until they've paid for the services that you've provided in a mix, and then you would give them the full frequency files. But some people don't care. They're just going to release it for digital download or put it up on Reverb Nation or, any one of these other streaming services that are out there. So they really don't care. They'll just throw up the MP3 version anyway. And it doesn't matter. They basically walk away with what they consider to be a finished product, and they end up paying you half of what you expected. So the idea and the ways that you deal with it, one is to be very clear about the negotiations in terms of working with it. Set your price and really stick to it. If you negotiate at a lower rate, then there has to be a trade-off, and that is that they pay you the full amount up front. And if they refuse, then you know that they're never going to pay you in the first place. So that's the way that you kind of work your way through it. There's always a trade-off. If you're going to give something, they have to give something, and they have to give it immediately, and you have to kind of work on those balanced terms. And this prevents you from actually doing a job that you're not going to get paid for, and you're just going to be really pissed off about in the end. So anyway, there's a mixing with my career building tip: recognizing deadbeat clients, stopping them in their tracks, and not putting yourself in a position where you have to be a collection agency on top of being a mix engineer.